plan to use, having more guys other than last year? You had two guys where there's injuries. Plan to use more tight ends on plays this year?
Well, last year Jimmy Scheidler and Nick Rieke were the two tight ends, and we really didn't have a third that was playable. And Jimmy had a high ankle sprain for almost the second half of the season, and you know, so Nick, who had really never played before, played a lot more than we anticipated. And, you know, a couple things have happened. Number one, I think Nick Rieke is playing far better than he ever did a year ago. We redshirted Alex Baer, who was probably, that was a hard decision last year to redshirt him. There was a point in the season that he probably could have helped us, but it was so late in the season we didn't think it was worth him losing a whole year of eligibility for it. And to me, he brings a lot of athleticism to the position, a lot of versatility to it. And then Tyler Beck, a true freshman, came in and really picked things up quickly, and he's going to play too. So, you know, last year we had two, but because of the injuries, we really only had one. And this year, at least, we're starting off the season with three tight ends that we feel very comfortable with throwing the football to and playing. So I think there's going to be a lot more involvement from that position this year.
Dave, looking at your depth chart, your starters, there are guys who've played, they haven't started. Your backups at a lot of positions are guys who have not played. Would you just talk about that kind of dichotomy in the experience?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, I think if you look at our depth chart, I think we start 11 seniors. But if you look at the number twos, I think there's like 18 freshmen. Right. And again, it's just a result of, you know, those middle three recruiting classes. When we took over, you know, there was really a class and a half that wasn't here. You know, so, and I said it all year last year, we had a lot of seniors, we had a lot of freshmen, and the three classes in between, there was a lot of attrition. So it is what it is. We knew it when we came in, and you know, we've been getting those redshirt freshmen a lot of reps. Even last year, you know, typically your redshirt freshman run scout team. Last year we had guys that we were redshirting, and we gave them reps with the second offense, just knowing that they were going to have to get ready and play this year. Kamar Jordan, who we redshirted, he's a redshirt junior. I mean, he stayed up with the first offense and second offense all year last year because we knew when Freddie left, he'd have to stay in that role. We redshirted Matt Chills last year, but Matt Chills never ran a scout team rep. We gave him almost every number 2 and number 3 rep at quarterback that we could because we had to prepare him. We didn't want him to go from running the scout team to being the starting quarterback. And there were positions that we did the same thing on defense. And so we tried to manufacture experience as much as we could. And again, it's a lot different having practice experience and game experience. At least they were getting reps running our offensive system and our defensive system. And a lot of those guys that you talk about in the 2 deep that are young, I mean, I'm confident that they're ready to play and help us win. You know, they're not just there because that's all we have. I mean, there's some guys in that 2 deep that I think are going to have an impact, a very positive impact on our season this year. Yeah, I looked at that too. That's a pretty dramatic split in it.
Crazy. That's crazy.
You guys got anything else?
Well, Coach, when you look at Troy, do you see some similarities as far as both teams with a lot of turnover? Do you kind of see just a similar team that you're going to be facing there?
Not really. I mean, you know, again, and people make an issue of us being young, but I think we have as many senior starters this year as we had last year. You know, it's just some of our seniors hadn't started before, but Champ Fells played and Calvin Marshall played, and you know, a lot of the guys are starting for the first time, but they're not playing for the first time. And Troy is somewhat similar in that regard. You know, they graduated their senior quarterback. He got drafted by the Buffalo Bills, but you know, they have a guy there that started 2 years ago against Ohio State that has played before. Every other returning skill player in their whole offense is a senior. So, you know, they list 12 in their 2 deep, and every receiver, tight end, back that they have listed as a starter is a senior. And then they have 2 or 3 starters back on the O-line. They have 3, and I think they've had some health issues. And then they're replacing a lot of guys on defense, but the guys they're replacing them with aren't new to the program. That those guys were there and played last year and got reps. So I think it's somewhat similar. I think the difference is in a lot of their 2 deep, they may have some sophomores and juniors as opposed to freshmen. but not a big difference. And that's college football. A quarter of your roster is going to turn over every year. So it's just a matter of not when, but just where.
Is there a particular position or player for Troy that has your attention, keeping you up nights?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Jernigan, the receiver, and I mean, Jernigan is a electric. He's just a very. You hate to use all this. I don't like being cliche-ish and coach speak, and I think the word special gets overused. So I'm not going to say he's a special player. I'll just say he's really, really good. He's an exciting kick returner. When they put him in the Wildcat as a quarterback, he can take an inside zone play and bounce it outside and run for 50 yards. Then they line him up as a slot receiver, and they try to get him matched up on a linebacker and a safety, and then they run reverses with him on the speed sweep. And they've taken a player with a very unique skill set, and they've done a great job of making sure he is going to get the football. If you come out and say, hey, we're going to double him the whole game, then they're going to put him in the Wildcat, or they're going to run a reverse with him. And if you double him at this position, they can line him up in another position. And you go along with it. And the running back they have is outstanding as well. He's a very good player, and they have really, really good skill on offense. And on defense, they had the 2 defensive ends last year, and I think they both got drafted. And from everything we're hearing this year from them, that the 2 defensive ends they have again are outstanding pass rushers. And they have some speed in the secondary as well. So, Jernigan is a great player, but certainly their overall team speed, I think, is what makes them good. And we put that with a team that's very well coached, and it's not an accident that they've been so successful. So it's going to be a great challenge for us, and it's going to be fun. I mean, I think you learn a lot about your team early in the year, and you want to go into tough environments, and this will be one, and I'm sure we'll go down there and we're going to compete hard, and I have a lot of confidence in our guys. I think they've prepared hard for this, and now it's our first chance to play a game.
I know a lot of us and a lot of the people that are going to sit in the seats have a game down the road on their mind. Has it been hard getting your football team focused on these games that are ahead of you?
Our guys know Troy is really good. They know it. They played against him. I mean, you can watch the film last year, and we made some plays, and we had some good things happen. But it was never like we had that game in control, or we were dominating them physically, or we were running with them. I mean, our guys know Troy's a good football team. And they found out last year very quickly in the first quarter the speed of the game. I mean, it was 14-0 before you could blink an eye last year. And their speed is hard to prepare for, and our guys have respect for them, and they've earned it.